from the outside.
Greetings. I am Buzz Lightyear. I come in peace.
All right. Today's theme is Toy Story, one of my favorite movies. Okay. Our title today is 2-1 if-then statements, and our notes are going to go in our notes page like so. You're going to cut your paper in half, and then the bottom section you'll cut in half again, so you have 2 columns there, and then you'll have your glue in. So the first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at a slide from a PowerPoint, specifically at a table that you're going to be copying into your notes. Here we go. Let's find that. Okay. So the table is, oh, I passed it. It's right here. Here we go. Okay, the first thing I want you to notice is that this table has 3 columns, words, symbols, and model. And I would reserve 1 line, 2 lines, 2 lines, and 2 lines. And I wouldn't pause the video to copy this table. I'm going to be talking you through it and helping you edit out some of these words to kind of make this a little bit more meaningful. Lastly, I want you to know we're going to be adding something into these side margins, and that's going to help us kind of add some more depth to the definition that they gave us. Okay, an if-then statement is of the form if P then Q. So an if-then statement simply has an if and a then. The symbols for an if-then statement are P, arrow, Q. The arrow means that you would read this if P then Q, or P implies Q. Now here's what they wrote about the hypothesis, our second vocab word. The hypothesis of a conditional statement is the phrase immediately following the word if. I would write the hypothesis follows the word if. The conclusion, that's our last word, follows the word then. The hypothesis is represented by the letter P and the conclusion the letter Q. And this illustration over here is just kind of like a representation of a real if-then statement. P is the setup, it makes Q happen, if P, then Q. Okay, now let's add a couple things in here. So the first thing I want you to notice is that, sometimes in an if-then statement, they don't write an if-then in there. So I want you to first write that an if-then statement is also known as a conditional statement. The next thing I want you to know is that sometimes there is no if and no then, and you're just going to have to know what the hypothesis and conclusion really mean. So in a sentence, the hypothesis would be like the environment, or the setup, or the action. It's something that sets up a consequence, and the consequence is the conclusion. It's what happens as a result of the environment, the setup, or the action. Okay, let's look at 2 examples where they ask us to identify the hypothesis and the conclusion. And the first one's going to be pretty easy. Here's what it says. Example 1. If it is raining when I wake up, then my mom makes me take my umbrella. Okay, I'm going to spread this out a little bit. Okay. So if it is raining when I wake up, then my mom makes me take my umbrella. Okay, 2 parts you want to look for are your if and your then. And this is as simple as it can be, right? Following the if is my hypothesis, and following my then is my conclusion. So if it's raining when I wake up is the hypothesis. My mom making me take my umbrella is the conclusion. It's what happened because it was raining. Now, for example 2, I know I'm going to trip you up, so take a look at this one. Okay. A 5-sided polygon is a pentagon. Okay. Now, I know when you're looking at this, you're thinking, there's no if, and there's no then, and I know it's supposed to be here and here, or maybe backwards, but how do I know? Well, let's split this up a little bit, okay? Let's suppose it said, if you have a 5-sided polygon, I think you see where I'm going here, then it is a pentagon. Now, in some cases, you are literally going to have to do that. You're going to have to insert the if and the then, kind of reading through it to decide where your P and Q are. So keep your eyes open and just know that you may need to do that.